Have you ever wondered what it's like to suddenly notice how effortlessly everything begins to make sense? And as you begin to notice that, something even more fascinating happens. You might begin to feel a growing sense of curiosity, and maybe, just maybe, a part of you already knows that every answer you seek is waiting inside. And that's the secret, isn't it? The real power comes not from answers, but from the right questions. The kind that shift perspective, awaken understanding, and gently lead the mind to exactly where it needs to be. Like the moment when a puzzle piece falls into place, and suddenly everything becomes clear. You could say asking the right question is like planting a seed in fertile soil, a question that begins to take root in the mind, growing stronger, more alive with each passing moment, until the answer reveals itself in a way that feels so natural, so obvious. It feels as though you knew it all along. And isn't it interesting how, when you ask a question, the mind can't help but begin to search for the answer. And in searching, it learns. In discovering, it transforms. Now imagine you're standing at the edge of a winding path. Every question you ask is a step down that path. You don't need to push, because the path itself pulls you forward. It draws you in, curious, calm, eager, to see what lies ahead. And without even realizing it, you find yourself in a place where resistance disappears. Notice how this works. When you explain something directly, a person might stop to analyze, question, even resist. But when you ask a question so perfectly crafted that it opens a door in the mind, they walk right through. And they think they've chosen to walk through that door on their own. Isn't that beautiful? And it's so easy to wonder now how quickly you can begin to see every conversation as an opportunity to guide, to shape, to influence, with subtlety and grace. Imagine that every interaction becomes a kind of dance, where each question is a step, each response a movement, and somehow, as if by magic, you're always leading exactly where you want to go, and they love following. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever noticed how someone feels a deeper connection with you when you're truly curious about them? When you let your curiosity guide you to ask questions that unlock their hidden thoughts. When you ask those questions, isn't it fascinating how the mind becomes wide open, like a blank page ready for something new? What if every question you asked had the power to reframe their entire reality? Not by telling them what to believe, but by helping them to discover the belief that you've carefully planted within the question itself. Because the right question at the right time creates a cascade of insights. And the most powerful questions are like mirrors, reflecting back exactly what someone needs to see, but couldn't see before. They change the frame, they shift the perspective, and with just a few simple words, they transform how someone feels, thinks, and acts forever. And as you begin to realise that every question holds a potential to create that kind of shift, you may also notice how easily you begin to install new beliefs, not by telling, but by guiding, by gently, carefully leading someone to arrive at a conclusion so obvious, so right, it feels as though they've thought of it themselves. Now isn't that the kind of power you want to have? The kind of skill that turns every conversation into a work of art. The kind of influence that draws people in without effort. The kind of charisma that leaves others feeling inspired, curious, and deeply connected to you. What if you already had this power? What if you've been using it all along without even realizing it? What if the only thing left to do is to start sharpening it, honing it, enjoying it? You can start noticing it now. You can already feel how every question that you ask becomes more powerful, more elegant, more precise. And the more you ask, the more you learn. The more they learn. The more the world opens to you. And it all starts with a single question. Isn't it exciting to think where that question might lead? And isn't it interesting how change just happens? Like a breeze that gently turns pages of a book, revealing exactly what you need to read next. You don't even have to try, because something inside you knows exactly what to do, exactly how to adjust, exactly when to awaken new ways of thinking, new ways of being, ways that feel so natural, so easy, so obvious once you notice them. And there's a certain kind of freedom that comes with realizing the answers are already inside you. All it takes is the right question. Not a push, not an explanation, but the kind of question that slides past the surface of your thoughts, slips beneath your conscious awareness, and whispers directly to the part of you that's always known what's best. Imagine this for a moment. Every question you ask becomes a key that opens doors to new possibilities, new perspectives, new beliefs that feel as though they've always belonged to you. And every time you turn that key, something shifts. Sometimes it's subtle, a gentle nudge, a new direction. Other times it's sudden, like a flash of insight that changes everything in an instant. Have you ever had a moment like that? A moment when someone asked you a question so powerful, it changed the way you saw the world. A question that turned a problem into an opportunity, a limitation into a resource, a fear into excitement. What if you could create those moments anytime you wanted? Not just for yourself, but for others too. Because you can, you know. In fact, you're already doing it right now. Every time you open your mouth to speak, every word you say has the potential to plant a seed of growth, of curiosity, of belief so strong it grows deeper and stronger with every thought that follows it. And here's the best part. You don't need to explain. You don't need to convince. You simply ask the right question. And let the mind do whatever it does best. It searches, it explores, it finds meaning and it fills in gaps. And before you know it, the very idea you wanted to share becomes theirs. They believe it because they discovered it for themselves. And what we discover for ourselves, we own forever. It's a dance, really. A beautiful dance of words and meaning, of suggestion and discovery. And the more you step into this dance, the more you begin to notice patterns in language, in thoughts, in belief. Patterns you can use to guide, to shape, to influence, with such elegance and precision that it feels effortless. You might notice how easy it is to begin to see conversations in a new light, to recognize every statement contains a hidden question, and every question contains a hidden answer. And isn't it interesting how, when you become aware of this, your conversations start to change. They become lighter, freer, more powerful, more alive with possibility. And it all begins with a simple realization. The world doesn't respond to explanations, it responds to questions. Because a question opens a loop in the mind. It creates a space that must be filled. And when you ask the right questions, that space becomes filled with the very idea that you wanted to install, naturally, effortlessly, permanently. So, what kind of questions do you want to ask? The kind that inspire? The kind that unlock hidden potential? The kind that transform limitations into opportunities? Doubts into certainty? Hesitation into unstoppable action? You're already asking them. And each question brings you closer to mastering this skill. The skill to lead, to influence, to create change on the deepest level. Because when you guide someone with your questions, something magical happens. They begin to trust you. Not because you've told them what to think, but because you've shown them how to think. They begin to believe in you. Not because you've given them the answers, but because you've helped them to discover answers they didn't even know they were searching for. And more importantly, they believe in themselves. And isn't that the greatest gift you can give? To help someone find the strength, the clarity, the certainty that was already inside them, waiting to be uncovered. And the more you think about it, the more you begin to realize you've been giving that gift all along. So what if every conversation became a work of art? What if every question you asked became a brushstroke on the canvas of someone's mind? What if, with each word you spoke, you created a masterpiece of belief, of connection, of transformation? You can, you know, and you're already doing it. The only thing left to do is to enjoy it. Enjoy the process, enjoy the dance, enjoy the art of asking the kinds of questions that change everything. And as you do, you may begin to notice something fascinating. You may notice how your confidence grows stronger, how your words become more powerful, how your presence becomes magnetic. And isn't it amazing how quickly it happens, one question at a time. Because it's funny, isn't it? How sometimes you don't even realise you've already begun a journey until you've gone so far down the path that you can't remember exactly where it started. Maybe it began with a question. Maybe it started with a thought. Or maybe it started long before you were even aware of it. Some part of you recognising an opportunity for growth, for a change, for something new to take root and expand. And here you are, curious, wondering how far this journey can take you. Because every step you take brings you closer to something, closer to the kind of understanding that feels like remembering something you've always known. Have you ever noticed how the mind can work like a spiral? It circles around an idea, revisiting it from different angles, each time getting a deeper understanding, a clearer perspective, until finally it clicks and everything just makes sense. Like the time you were thinking about something, maybe not even consciously, and then suddenly the answer appeared. It wasn't forced. It wasn't something you had to struggle to find. It just came to you. That's how most powerful ideas work, isn't it? They're already there, waiting beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment, the right question to bring them to life. And isn't it fascinating how questions have that kind of power? The power to unlock something hidden, the power to shift everything, whatever needing to explain a thing. Let me tell you a story. There was once a teacher, not the kind who gave answers, but the kind who asked questions. And every time the teacher asked a question, it was like opening a door. Some doors opened to new ideas, some doors to deeper insights, and some opened to places so familiar. It was as if the person walking through had always known they belonged there. But here's the most interesting thing. The teacher never told anyone where the door led. The teacher simply invited them to step inside and discover for themselves. And each time someone walked through one of those doors, they experienced something remarkable. They found exactly what they needed to find. And maybe you're wondering now, what doors are waiting to be opened for you? What questions will lead you to places you didn't even realise you were ready to explore? Because every door leads somewhere, and every question contains a hidden key. And the best part, the answer is never outside you, it's always within. Every step you take, every question you ask, brings you closer to realising that you've had the key all along. It's like that moment where you're reading a book, and the story pulls you in so deeply that you forget everything else. You lose track of time, you lose track of where you are, and you become part of the story, until suddenly you reach a turning point, a moment where everything changes. When you look back, you realise every word, every chapter, every twist in the plot was leading you to this very moment. And now here you are, standing at the turning point of your own story, a story you're writing, with every word you speak, every question you ask, every belief you choose to create. Because that's the real magic, isn't it? The power to create your own reality, through the questions you ask. What if every challenge is simply an invitation to ask a better question? What if every belief you hold is simply a doorway to a deeper truth? And what if the way you choose to ask questions becomes the key to transforming everything around you? There's something amazing about that, isn't there? To realise every question contains the seed of change, that every belief you plant in the mind can grow into something extraordinary. And you've already planted these seeds. They're already beginning to grow. Every question you ask now, it's like sunlight and rain, nurturing those beliefs and helping them take root. And as those beliefs grow stronger, you may begin to notice how your thinking shifts, how your words become more intentional, more powerful, how every conversation becomes an opportunity to plant a seed in someone else's mind. Like that teacher who opens doors with questions, you can begin to see yourself as a guide who helps others discover the answers that have always been within them. And isn't that the most powerful role you can play? Not to tell people what to think, but to show them how to find their own answers. To ask the kind of questions that create lasting change, the kind that transforms lives, the kind that echoes long after the conversation ends. Because once a question is asked, it can't be unasked. It lingers, it grows, it becomes part of who you are. And the right question at the right time changes everything. So now I wonder, what question will you ask next? And where will that lead you? Because every question is a step, every step is a door, and every door is a new beginning, waiting for you to walk through. Now notice how the spiral comes full circle, bringing back the metaphors of doors, seeds, journeys, and the teacher. Each layer reinforcing the other, guiding the unconscious mind to internalize, asking better questions, opening doors to new beliefs, and creating change with ease.